A drug recognition expert, also known as a DRE, is a police officer who's basically had some extra training in allegedly recognizing when someone is under the influence of a certain type of drug. When this happens, someone's been arrested for a DUI and some type of impaired driving, and the arresting officer, whether they're a DRE or actually they're supposed to bring in a separate officer who's a DRE, will be called in to determine the amount of impairment or to help solidify their case, because usually the officer who makes the arrest is not a drug recognition expert. So what they do is they have actually these 12 tests that they do, and they basically run people through the same field sobriety test that the arresting officer has already done. It's usually done back at the station in a more controlled environment. They do things with, your pupils. They'll have you in a dark room. They're checking for your skin rigidity. They're checking your pulse. They're doing all sorts of different things that are supposed to help them determine what drug you're on and if you're impaired by it, and what the training, what the evidence has showed based on the training and the testing that these officers do to become DREs, shows that it's about 30 or 40% of the time when they actually can guess the drug correctly that the person is on. So that's what we're working with here. We're working with a very inexact evaluation process, and it's just, it's, in my opinion, in many of these cases, it's a complete joke. There are some officers who are much better at it than others, like in anything. And I've been through different trainings at different conferences, which these are given by, people who are DRE instructors. And so they talk about all the issues and things. And in fact, I've personally seen in some of these classes that I've taken where these instructors of DREs cannot get correct what drug the person is actually on. And what they will do is they will actually dose people with different types of drugs, and waivers are signed and all this, and it's in a controlled environment at a conference. And then they will put them through all the tests, and we'll stand there and we'll be doing the tests with them and administering them. And, we're all trying to figure out what this person is on. And this is a very, very tough evaluation. It's, I don't even know if you call it a science, because of the lack of accuracy here. It's just one more thing that has been brought up to try and help a prosecution convict someone for being under the influence of a specific drug when they're driving. But what I hope happens in these cases when they do go to trial is that the defendant has a very good lawyer who understands how this training works and has been, educated here so that they can show how inaccurate this training is. One of the things that we'll do is we'll get the rolling logs of these DRE officers, and, through the discovery process. And what these show is the accuracy of their guessing what someone is on, from back in their training days all the way up through the arrest of the person who we're representing. This is something that we we challenge and we fight, and it's a lot harder to get a conviction, I believe, for the prosecution on a drug DUI than a alcohol DUI, which has a per se number. That's why prosecutors really like numbers. If there's an alcohol case where it's a refusal to take a test, or there's something wrong with the testing and the number can't come in, they don't like it. They want their number. They want, to be able to say, oh yeah, this person was coming down, so they would have been higher at the time of driving. One other thing about the DREs, which I think makes this a complete joke when they're talking about statistics and their accuracy, is one of the first questions that they are told to ask the person. And by the way, someone's supposed to voluntarily agree to do a DRE examination. But what the DRE examiner asks them is, what drug are you on? So then once they've done their whole evaluation to try and figure out whether it's a depressant or a stimulant or which one it is, they already have in their head, oh, this person said they were under the influence of cocaine or whatever, they marijuana or whatever they said it was. It is not an exact science, and hopefully the lack of accuracy is exposed in a jury trial situation, so that those asked with the great task of determining whether someone is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt have all the facts and information.